Hello and welcome to the 8th grade math podcast. This is Mr. Morris, and today we'll be finding and graphing the equation of a line using 2 points. And those indeed are our instructions. It says find and graph the equation in y equals mx plus b form of the line that passes through these points. Our points are -3, -4, and 9, 4. Now, one of the most vital things is to remember when we're given coordinates that the first coordinate is the x coordinate and the second coordinate is the y coordinate, okay? So we have x and y. Now, from these coordinates, we can figure out the slope of the line that goes through those 2 points. The way we do that, we need to remember that slope is the same as rise over run, right? And we should remember that rise is y's, okay? Rise is y's. So that means it's the change in y over the change in x. Okay, and the way we can figure out the change in y and the change in x is through subtraction. Now, the formula we see for this sometimes is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. All that means is we're going to take one of the y's and subtract the other y up top, and down the bottom we're going to take one of the x's and subtract the other x. So in our case it's going to look like this. We'll take a y, -4, and subtract the other y, 4. So we have -4 minus 4. Now we have to make sure we start with the corresponding x value. Okay, so we started with the -4 for our y value. We're going to start with a -3, which is the corresponding x value. So we'll have -3 minus 9. Okay, so -4 minus -4 is -8. -3 minus 9 is -12. And that is equal to 2/3. If we divide the top and the bottom by -4, we get 2/3. So what we've got here is our slope, okay? And let's mark that so we don't forget that that's what that number is. We'll circle it and mark it as our slope. So what we've got now, we know that y equals 2/3 x plus b. Okay, and let's give us some room. We're going to erase this here. So now what we need to do is solve for b. And the way that we do that is by plugging in one of our values for x and y. Generally, you want to choose values that will be simpler for you. So you want to choose smaller values, or in this case, I would want to deal with the positive values because those are going to be easier for me to deal with in the equation. Okay? Now, it's very important to remember which is x and which is y. This is x, this is y. All right? This is the most common mistake that you'll make, is by plugging in 9 for y instead of for x. Okay? So it should be, when we plug in these two values, we'll get 4, we've plugged the 4 in for y, equals 2/3 times 9, we've plugged in 9 for the x, plus b. And if we continue to work that out, we get 4 equals 2/3 of 9 is 6, plus b. We subtract 6 from both sides. We get -2 on this side is equal to b. So we know that b equals -2. We know that our formula is y equals 2/3 x minus 2. Okay? Now, let's graph that. We graph that by plotting some points. Well, we've got 2 points up here. The first point is -3, -4. So if we go over to our graph, -3, -4 is here. Let's mark that. And we've got another point, 9, 4. So we go over to our graph, 9, 4 is there. And we also know, now that we have y equals mx plus b, we know b is our y-intercept. Okay, so our y-intercept is -2, and we can mark that. So if we connect these lines, we should get a line that goes through all 3 points. Let's test that out. Let's add an equation up here. So y equals 2/3 x minus 2. And let's see. Perfect. Our line goes through all 3 points, which means we've done this correctly. And that is how we find and graph an equation using 2 points.